That was crazy. How many times have I said that in the last like 3 hours? That was crazy.
Dozens. I've stood like clutching my face in disbelief for quite a long time as people were like dropping like flies on the Queen K.
I know. All right. So I feel like quick sum up if somehow you missed it, because it is very hard to watch in the Ironman World Championship. I texted my husband. I was like, you have to watch this. It's crazy. And he was like, how? Good question. So he couldn't watch it. So if you couldn't watch it, what happened was Lucy, Charles-Barclay, and Taylor Knibb were like off the front. It was like, Lucy's going to win this. Then they were going back and forth. She caught Taylor
on the bike.
We're talking on the bike. And then they got to the run. And Taylor was ahead because Lucy had a penalty. And then Lucy caught her. And then Taylor came back on Lucy. And then Lucy was like wobbling around.
Yeah. And notably, sorry, before we get to the wobbling and the collapsing, that was a fantastic summary of 8 hours of racing.
Yes, that was what happened in 8 hours. Yeah.
But the chase pack who were working together on the bike were minutes behind. Like they were like 14.
Oh yeah, I was going to get into the super details in a second. I was giving high level.
Okay,
so then you're like, okay, Lucy has this. Then Lucy suddenly is walking, is wobbling, is like doing the staggering around drunk.
Yes.
But then starts running again. Then finally her husband pulls her off course and she's crying. Then Taylor's in the lead. And you're like, all right, Taylor's got this. You're down to like 2K. Everyone kept saying 2K, but it's like a mile and a half to go. You're like, Taylor's got this. We like tried to get into the finish line. Somehow, and us trying to get to the finish line, suddenly Taylor's wobbling. She's sitting down on the side of the road. She gets put into an ambulance. Now you're like, Solveig's in the lead now. Like, what the hell's going on?
So we were trying to we were in the media room watching the coverage, and then we were trying to get to the finish line in time to see Taylor, who was in the lead. And
obviously win.
We get outside and we had like 5 minutes of maybe 3 minutes of gap in like the coverage we were watching. And suddenly we're just watching Taylor on the screen, just wobbling. Like if anyone's been in triathlon for a long time, like the style that we used to see in the 80s when people bonked really hard near the end of the run, literally like buckling knees, cannot continue. And she went from like, it was a mile and a half out. We all thought she was going to win. The press outlets had written their
press releases, their stories, because you have those like basically done at this point. I mean, this is Ironman. Nothing happens in the last mile.
Yeah. Like Taylor had it all wrapped up. And then next thing you know, collapse on the pavement.
Yeah, it was. And the whole, like we were in the finish area at that point and they're playing on the big screen. The whole big screen's like, get up. And then she gets up and she like walks a few more steps and then she falls. And everyone's like, oh, like it was like the whole crowd was, oh my God.
There was like thousands of people just with a collective gasp.
So it was crazy, actually crazy. This was also after like Chelsea Sodaro pulled out on the side of the road. It was wild. We ended up with Solveig Løvseth.
Yes.
I say ended up. It wasn't like she kept it together. She ran very fast. She was like on it.
Yeah.
And when I saw her after, in the hotel after, I think I started my conversation with her with that was crazy. So let's hear from her. We'll do this fast, all right?
Yeah.
All right, that was crazy. At what point were you like, oh shit, I'm going to win this?
When I was at the finish line. Maybe a couple meters before that. But it was really, crazy. You said it. It was it was really mixed feelings when I saw Taylor sitting beside the road there. It was only 2Ks before the finish, and I was really happy with second as well, and really obviously heartbreaking for her, and really surreal feeling, because it was like two feeling sorry for her, but also like I'm in the lead now. That was crazy. And then I was just thinking, okay, just control yourself and get yourself to that finish line, like don't be the next one. So I was really happy the finish line was where it was, because if it had been a couple Ks longer, then Kat definitely would have caught up with me. So
all right, Sarah, you wanted to do the play-by-play. Let's get a little more into how this actually happened, like how we got to. Not only was it like 2 liters collapsing, also Kat Matthews was running her down. In the end, Kat was only 35 seconds back in second.
Yes.
Like, and we were watching it and it was like, oh shit, like she might catch her. Like shit, if Solveig's the next one to go down, it's over. Like
that was one of my thoughts. So I was like, who else is going down? Like now really anything can happen. Meaning
anything is possible.
Can collapse. at any given time.
But so it ended up also being one of the closest, like the third closest finish in history or something like that, which is crazy. So, like you said, came out like Lucy led from the gun.
Yeah.
As she does. There was like a group that formed behind her.
Yeah.
With like the kind of fashion, like the Haley Churras and Taylor Knibb.
And Chelsea got in there. So she
Chelsea
had a really
got
good
in
swim.
there.
We were excited for her at the time.
We were. And then there was a whole second group that had like Kat and Laura and Solveig and Lisa Perderer.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of good cyclists. Ultimately, those groups sort of merged. Besides Taylor. Taylor took off.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor took off as Taylor does.
Yeah. Lucy, then Taylor.
Lucy.
Yeah.
So then you end up with Lucy, Taylor, and then like a giant group of like 12 or something like that.
Yes.
And this happened 2 years ago when we were here. You're sitting there and you're like, they're losing time to Lucy. And then you realize that what's happening is just that like Lucy and Taylor are both biking. Like they're putting time on everyone, even though people are like making up time in their own groups. Like this person's ahead of that person. Lucy and Taylor ultimately put like 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just, I just have to say that again. That's crazy.
I also liked how Solveig described in the press conference how she kind of accidentally dropped the group.
Right.
You know, like she was just taking kind of a turn at the front, as they do. Like they do that loose draft pack thing where they're spaced out, you know, hopefully how they're supposed to be. Anyway, and so she was just taking her turn in the front and thought, oh, well, someone's going to come through. And then she just realized she had dropped everyone.
And she's like, well, I guess I'm doing this by myself now.
And then she eventually put 8 minutes into them as well.
Right.
So it was like 14 minutes to Taylor off the bike, but like Solveig was also.
So into T2, it was Taylor, minute and a half back Lucy because there was a accidental littering penalty in there. Then another like 4 or 5 minutes, 4-ish minutes to Solveig, and then another like 8 minutes or 9 minutes. Enough time that I went to get an iced tea in between to the next group of like Kat and Laura and everybody. And I think we were all like, oh, well, it's not like nobody makes up 14 minutes in modern triathlon era. Like this isn't the 80s, right? Like nobody makes up 14 minutes.
I think we did see Rinny at one point make up a 14-minute deficit, but that might have been a decade ago.
It was a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think afterwards when we were asking them, even they were like, oh, well, I guess they won. Like, I guess we're all here for third. Yeah. Turns out they overcooked it.
Yeah. I mean, something went wrong.
Something happened. Yeah. And it's funny because when we were asking them, we asked Solveig, like, out there, like, what do you know? Right? You're just like running.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening? And it was kind of cute that she, like, oh, well, you can hear from the press conference. She's like, how am I haven't passed anyone.
Yeah. It's super cute.
Yeah. It was just weird because really good, but also like I didn't see it coming because I think when I was third off the bike, I was thinking like, okay, if I am able to actually stay on this podium, that's great. So I was thinking like, either I need to try to keep the girls behind me, or if they catch me, I need to try to catch someone because I just want this podium. That was like my one focus, and then I was not really gaining much on the front, so I was thinking like, okay, but third is really good. And then Lucy stopped, and I was just like, whoa, second is really good. But then I was thinking like, okay, second it is. And suddenly I was in the lead. And then that also happened so fast because it was, I think both of them like blew up quite quickly. So it was, the gap just went down so fast. So I wasn't like gaining slowly. It was just like from a big gap to nothing. So I definitely wasn't prepared to be in the lead, so it was just strange. Very surreal, I imagine.
It was interesting hearing from all of them in the press conference because they were saying like, well, we're hearing splits, but it's still triathlon, right? Like this isn't like, as I say, this isn't a professional sport, but this isn't like a high level. Okay. So like when they say they're hearing splits, they mean like a significant other is writing on a whiteboard.
Right.
So it's easy. So I know why some of them were like, no, I just read like that. They just added that wasn't really a one.
Right.
Right.
I think there's also an official whiteboard, isn't there?
I don't know.
There used to be in my day.
In your day,
Kelly,
there was an official whiteboard?
Yes, there was an official whiteboard, and they would come and they would write on.
Well, then why is Mark Matthews out there with his pen?
There's also unofficial whiteboards.
There are lots of unofficial whiteboards. Yes. Yeah. So I think so, and then. I think some of them were like, that can't be right. And then I think you also have to tell yourself like, well, you have to tell yourself two things. Like, well, maybe it'll come back and
Mhm.
it's never over. Anything can happen. And like, oh, well, I just have to do my best. That's what they all kept saying, right? It was like,
Yeah.
those are the kind of the two things you have to sort of tell yourself
Yeah. When you're 14 minutes back.
when you're
off the bike.
14 minutes back off the
Yes.
bike. And so we obviously asked Laura, and I do feel bad. I started every interview with, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was
Let's
crazy.
talk about it.
So it ended up at the finish line. It was Solveig, Løvseth, Kat Matthews, Laura Philipp, Hannah. Keep wanting to say Wells, Hannah Berry now,
Yes.
and then Lisa Perderer, which was all right. So it's all like Laura's out there being like, oh, I guess I'm in 5th. Oh, I'm in 4th. Oh, I'm
Right.
in
Like,
3rd
so they're
now.
just, you have to imagine yourself in the final couple miles of the Ironman World Champs marathon, and you haven't overtaken anyone, but you suddenly go up a spot because one person drops to the ground, and you go up another spot because another person drops to the ground.
And so we asked her kind of what that was like out there. Asked Laura what that was like out there. And it was kind of interesting to hear from her. All right, I know we just talked a ton about like how crazy the race was, but out there, how much did you know? When do you know it? Do you believe it?
So honestly, like I had a few supporters out on course that gave me splits, but when I saw for the first time that the bike gap is just getting bigger and bigger, it was kind of hard to believe because I was trying my best and I didn't felt like I was riding super slow. So that was definitely upsetting. Like you're asking yourself like, what is going on? But I guess you can't do more than what you can. So I just try to ride hard and focus on myself. And then on the run, obviously I was hoping to have like good run legs. So because I think what the past has shown that even if gaps appear super big, so much can happen. And I think today's race was the best testament for that. Yeah, so much can happen during the run. So I was still believing. And the start with Kat was good, but then I kind of felt that, I can't continue with that pace, and that it's the best if I focus on myself and just give it my best effort. And then I got those information from my supporters like, Lucy dropped out, Taylor dropped out, and I couldn't believe it, like both of them were leading the race at certain points, so it definitely seemed crazy. I have never experienced something like this before, but it didn't really change my race plan. I just tried to set one foot in front of each other. So yeah.
On a hot day like that, are you going by heart rate or are you going by like feel, or what are you using?
Just by feel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But doesn't it feel terrible?
Yeah, it does.
So how do you know like, okay, I'm fine, this is an okay
Well,
terrible?
I think you ask yourself the question like, can I go any harder? And then if the answer is no, you just continue like you did. Well, I had like a game plan, and the pace was certainly different because I do believe that I can run faster. But I think it's so much that has an impact on how fast you can run at the end. Fueling, cooling, I don't know, form of the day.
Do you think they just overbiked? Like, is that like, did you guys actually bike it correctly?
Well, the thing is, I haven't looked at my data yet, but looking at the bike split, I would say I didn't bike well, but then you don't know. Like, it's just conditions and whatever. I have no idea. Maybe I put the wrong tire pressure in my tires. I don't know.
I was laughing when Kat was like running. I was like, Laura told me it was going to be a sprint on Elite E between two athletes. We just didn't know which two. And you were very close to being right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know, right?
So I should predict more races, I guess.
Kelly, over the years, because we've been talking to Laura for many years now, we've seen her, she came 4th here a couple times, 3rd. We talked to her in Nice last year when she won. She's one of my favorite champions now.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Yeah, I think she's very classy.
Sure.
She says interesting things.
Yep.
She's very encouraging. She's very honest about what was going on and how she was racing.
Yeah, she'll actually answer your questions.
Yeah, she answers your question. I just think she's a really great, what do you call it, ambassador for our sport. Like a good world champion,
A good world champion?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciated when she was talking that like, okay, I think I asked Hannah this, and we'll hear from her later, that like, do you guys really believe when you're telling yourself like, oh, I'm just doing my best, right?
Right.
But obviously, Laura, you have to tell yourself, I'm going to do my best. I'm doing what I can.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that. Yeah, she was like, she did not feel like good on the run, but she still, she kept it together. She hung in there.
I mean, that's another thing I like about
Right.
Laura is that she's like, she's kind about in the way she talks about her competitors, but she's also like, I could have done better. Like she's also very blunt about what she's capable of.
She also was one who noted that like, look, like we all were like, all right, well, 14 minutes you can't make up. And then it was like, maybe they overcooked it, right? Like that, which we have not. Okay, so historically, we have not seen that in the women's race. Like they do not since like people figured out modern sports nutrition, right? Like,
so we saw it, like we've seen before, like I mentioned earlier, like we had days when like Paula Newby-Fraser, literally the story was she like forgot to take her banana in T2 back in the day, when you didn't know about sports nutrition, so you just had a banana in T2.
Right.
and so I feel like the winner back then was the person who could like get through with just those random.
What was it?
Like,
Julie Moss told us the other day, we just thought we were efficient with our calories.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Like if you could eat a couple figs and a banana and get through an Ironman, like you were more likely to win, And then Paula came into transition and was like, I don't need my banana today. I feel good. And then ended up collapsing in the same way that Taylor did. Right. Or you had like the crawl off with Sean Welsh. And
right.
Someone whose name I forget right now. But these are like in the 80s.
Right. It hasn't, you 90s. Have not seen that. Now, you haven't seen it in the women's race. You have seen it in the men's race. Mm-hmm. So like we were talking about this, obviously, everyone was talking about this in the meeting room and stuff. And it's like, no, like don't, like Sam Laidlow here did that, right? And it was because he like overbiked and he cooked himself.
Yeah.
And so I think there is a degree of fields getting faster and faster and faster. People have to take risks to win. Yeah. There's also, I'm going to say it, an element of like when the women's field is all by themselves, it changes the dynamics. People are doing like crazier, weirder things on the bike. Yeah. They're working hard, like, right?
Yeah.
And so you end up with, like, we all assumed like they have, but like they might have just like biked too hard. And that hits you. You overheat, you overcook.
Yeah. And I think like we were talking about on the way back up here tonight, like I think there's always this combination of going too hard and how many calories you can get in.
And like how hot do you get?
Like just watching Taylor on that screen, there was something calorically she was like she, you know what I'm saying? Like there's only so much you can digest and absorb in your gut. Right. And so if you go harder, you need more energy, you need more calories. So it's kind of like part and parcel of the same thing.
And I will say my understanding is that she's like, oh, she didn't follow her plan and eat enough. But, and like, I'm sure she's going to like dissect this, but there's an amount where like her and Lucy are going back and forth. You like forget, you're like, you forget to take a gel because you're like, and you like, and I think there is an amount
going like hard,
you're going harder and you don't, you like forget the little like, or you don't stay as on top of your like, every 15 minutes type
we've
thing.
Talked about this, but it was hot out there.
Oh,
it was very
hot.
Humid and just more than usual. There was no breeze, and you do also need more calories in the heat.
But so but you need more calories, but you can't keep them down.
It's like, harder to absorb those calories
unless you've been training it. So it's not like you can just be like, oh, I need more calories in the heat, I should go eat.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't work. I've like had an extensive conversation with our resident sports science expert at Feisty about this. Like it doesn't, you can't just like on that day be like, I'm going to eat more, it's hot.
Right.
It does not work. You will throw up.
Right.
100%. But yeah, and I do feel bad because we were out on a Lee drive. We were doing an update and I was like, these conditions are ripe for blowups. It is hot. It is humid. It is very thick. And then I was like, and Lucy never blows up.
You were right about one thing and not
one for two. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, you called it there. Like
but
it was
Lucy, all of us, even back when we went back, like everyone's like, well, Lucy never, like she always pulls it back together. She always comes back. Well, she never blows up.
Even when she was struggling, like it was hard to, she would walk through the aid station and you could tell there were signs that she was struggling. But then when she started running again, she looked amazing and she would be moving.
Well, she looked good.
Okay, she looked good. Amazing to me.
Right. She looked amazing by normal people standards.
She was running solid back to her mostly her pace too. Like she wasn't running slowly. And so then, and then she'd walk through the aid station again and stumble around a little and then like start running like a normal Ironman champion again.
Right. I will
So
say
it's
she
hard to
looked,
tell.
but then when you really got a shot of her, like trying to cool off in an aid station, it was one of those like blank-eyed,
Yeah.
drunk looking, stumbly,
I
and you
think
were
if
like,
we'd been out there, you
oh,
would've-
that's not good.
Yeah, it probably would have been easier to see in person. Just on the screen, it was like hard.
And
to come through.
ultimately, her husband, who's also, well, he's not like whatever. He's like her on the ground coach. Just like stop, like stood in front of her,
yeah,
and was like, "You have to stop.
Yeah.
like stop."
what a hard call to make.
I know, yeah.
Mhm.
So it was very hot. Oh, I know what I was thinking. Just the weird, like the walking, stumbling, and then like while I'm running fine. I actually, this is super random, was talking to India Lee after in the pool, like the pool. Basically, everyone ends up in the pool at the hotel post race. This is how this works. So I was talking to her, and she had a similar like.
Oh,
I was stumbling, walking, and then when I'd be like, "Oh, I feel better," and she'd start running, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm running basically."
Right.
And then for like 10 minutes, she'd be like, "I feel okay," and then it'd be like back to stumble. I think it was the heat and I think it was the humidity
Weird.
today that
Yeah.
just really
yeah,
fucked people up. But
but
when that happens, people who are very good at managing,
Mhm.
you end up with a lot of surprises, right?
yes,
Because it's like the people who rode that line, managed their energy, managed the heat.
it created some surprise finishes.
Yeah.
like our 4th place, Hannah.
Hannah. I it's one of those ones once people started coming through and I look and I'm like, Hannah's coming.
Mhm.
So we talked to Hannah after the press conference too. All right. I mean, we spent the whole press conference talking about how crazy that race was, but I'm going to ask again. How crazy was it to be in? Did you know how crazy it was?
I mean, it was crazy to be hearing what was happening out on course a bit. I could feel that the conditions were really brutal. It was just so humid out there. So I don't know, possibly that played a part in just like how the race played out with all the people having to DNF. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of unbelievable, to be fair, hearing that, I was like in 5th and then in 4th. But it was a great day.
Somebody asked this and I was like, I don't know. They were like, when on a day when everyone's DNFing, not everybody, but everybody looks brutal, times are slow.
Yeah.
Did you do something different? Like how were you able to keep going? Did you like use cooling strategies? Did you go slower? Like what was the difference?
I mean, it actually wasn't really slow. It felt really slow on the bike. It was just like we never got a tailwind. I mean, I think, in this sport, possibly managing myself is maybe my greatest asset. So sometimes the more brutal the conditions are, the better for me. Like I'm not like the best swimmer, the best biker, or the best runner, but I generally am really well at managing myself like through hot conditions, especially. So when I looked at the forecast before the race this morning and I could see it was going to be a really humid one, and I could see that the wind had slightly changed, I was like, okay, it's going to be a hard day, but maybe it'll be good for me. And obviously it turned out to be.
The pros are always saying, like, it always sounds like you guys have all positive mental talk in your head. Like, oh, I just got to focus. How true is that? Are you actually just focusing on yourself?
I was, I mean, you are focusing on yourself, but you have to obviously be aware of what is happening in the race, because you do need to make the most of opportunities. If someone goes, can you go with them? So there was definitely paying attention to what was happening around me a lot. In terms of the positive talk, you kind of sometimes have to force those thoughts into your head, because honestly, I was retiring out there a few times today. You just basically force those thoughts in.
One of the things, I don't know, maybe as an Ironman champion, Sarah, you can answer this question. But one of the things I'm always like fascinated with is like how much are the pros good at like lying to themselves? Like I can still win this, and how much are they just like, well, I know I'm out. I'm 14 minutes back, but I'm just going to try my hardest. And I can never tell how much they're just saying things
I don't think she's just saying that.
and how much they're like really believe it.
Yeah, I think you have to believe it to
Yeah.
pull out performances like that.
Yeah.
I really related to her saying she retired multiple times out there, because I think we've all had races like that.
Right. But like, so did everyone today. Like, I think the DNF rate is ultimately going to be it was very thick, like humid, It's going to be ugly.
Sometimes retiring out there is a good thing. Because you're like, okay, you're thinking like, I get to the finish line, I don't have to ever do this again.
Right.
But there is still the get to the finish line part of that, right? So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be like, I might never do this again. But for today, I still have to continue to do my best.
The person who I actually on course as it was happening, I was like very impressed with that ability to just be like, you know what, I'm out of it, but I'm going to go as hard as possible, was Kat.
Yeah.
Because Kat came in like a favorite. We know she wants to win. She's been second. She had been second like so many times coming into this. Now she was second again.
Yeah.
And she was 14 minutes down on Taylor into T2 or 13, whatever it was. She was running so hard. She was not like, oh, well, I'm 14 down. I guess she was running full out from like, and at first it was her and Laura together. And then she kind of dropped Laura. Laura was, said she couldn't keep up. And then Kat like kept running hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like one thing to say like, oh, well, anything can happen. It's never over. But you have to keep that up for the whole 26 miles.
And she even, got faster at the end,
yes.
I think, because when she sort of saw blood in the water a little bit. Like once people were dropping in front of her, she was like, oh, maybe I could do this, and really started to go. And she was catching Solveig by the end.
It's like, it was hard. Like when you're just looking at the split, you're like, oh, well, she can't make up 3 minutes in 3 miles. And then you're like, oh, maybe she can.
Yeah.
Because she just like was, right?
So she got within 35 seconds?
Yeah, she finished with 35. But she was 4 minutes all the way up to like 3 or 4 miles to go.
Right.
So that's a lot.
A huge amount to catch up in 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah. So she did set a run course record. That's the other thing. It's 2:47:23.
Which is wildly impressive on this day where everybody else was affected by the heat and the pace of the race.
It's like part of me is just like how like, I mean, I know she was cooling. I know she was focused on like heart rate and like she really runs. And I've like known her for like, she's very good at riding the line, like right up to the line the whole time. I was going to say you never see Kat implode, but then I said that about Lucy. So I don't know. But we did hear her talk a little bit about kind of like that run and that run course record.
You're loosely aware, but I think it was 4 or 5 minutes for the whole race. That's what it felt like. Or it was 8 and then it was 4 and then it just stayed at 4 for a while. In the energy lab, Lucy, Taylor and Solveig all looked fantastic. So I was like, oh, well, like I said, just in your own game, you're on pace, everything's going fine. You can't worry about anyone else. But it was maybe at sort of 6 or 7K, Mark was like, you're going to catch, you're going to finish about 90 seconds behind Solveig. And he was like, but you could try a bit harder. and so I really lent in to my sort of like the muscular fatigue at that point, and I really gave it everything. So I knew that my closing kilometres were very fast. I love running downhill. It just makes it up. Well, I didn't know that, but I assumed Solveig wasn't running as fast, so I guess I didn't know I was that close though.
All right, I feel like we need to finish by saying everyone is okay. I have had updates.
We've had confirmation.
Yes, I've had confirmation.
There's no one in the hospital.
That Taylor is okay. Chelsea is okay. Lucy is okay. I mean, I'm sure, people are not going to be like well tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think more than anything, a lot of them, I just listed 3 people, but there's like, they're like upset, especially if you were like winning it with 1.5 miles to go, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine. I mean, I'm sure that Taylor, I can't wait at some point, somewhere, somehow, we're going to hear the Taylor uncut version of how her day went down. So I think the whole triathlon world is probably looking forward to that. So we don't really know exactly what happened, but I think at the end of the day, when you have a performance like that and you almost win and you blow up, like you're coming back and you're going to win this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, she will. I also have to say other surprises, because we talked about the top 5, because that's kind of considered the podium here, and that's who you like hear from post race. Holly Lawrence in 6th.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, right. And she was like crying at the finish line.
Yeah. And Jocelyn McCauley in 7th.
7th.
And all the children.
Right. So they all were greeted by their children. There were so many children at the finish.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like this used to be abnormal.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in 2022, when Chelsea won and her daughter was 18 months.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it had only been Natasha Badman, who had a child like very early and before her triathlon career started. And she had been the only champion that was a mom before that.
Right. She didn't have small infants.
Yeah. And now there's like within the top 10, there's
so
like
many children
crawling around the finish line everywhere waiting for their moms.
Yes.
Which is actually an incredible
It was very
thing.
funny. This is also why like everyone ended up at the hotel pool because there were like kids playing in the pool. And like it was just all you're like, this is a world championship.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But the kids have to get their energy out too.
It was funny. But yes, Holly was amazing. Jocelyn in 7th. There was just like on these kinds of days, there's a lot of surprises, right? That's how it goes. I will be curious to see what the overall DNF rate is because I do think it is going to be rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, anyway, I'm just waiting to see if our 80-year-old Natalie.
I'm hopeful because right now, as we are recording, post press conference, which took a while because we had to wait for Laura to pee again for doping. Right now, as we are recording, post press conference, as we can hear the age groupers down the hill, it started to rain. So I'm hoping that cooled everybody off and it like calms it down a little.
Because it speed up.
Right. It was the humidity in the air in the afternoon with the heat that was so bad.
I feel the relief just sitting here in our house.
So maybe that'll help our 80-year-old finish. Knock on something. Knock on something. All right. It's been fun all week, guys. Thank you to Lever, to Heddas, to Wahoo. Oh my God, it's been a long day.
It has. We have for Lever, they have a special where it's 25% off for their system. That's just until Sunday. So get on that today if you want that. Heddas, we have 25% off the women's specific shoe. If you're interested in trying that this is a really good time and opportunity. And then Wahoo Fitness has the fan.
A free $300 fan if you buy a treadmill. And these are all things like people in the top 10 use. These are real things. So,
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had fun with us from Kona.